Imagine this. You're 120 feet underwater. The sunlight above you has faded into a blue, trembling haze. Your oxygen is ticking down. One breath at a time, your heartbeat echoes inside your mask. Slow, loud, heavy, and then out of the darknessy sea wood. Not driftwood, not debris, but the curved, skeletal ribs of a ship that hasn't seen daylight in over 300 years. A pirate ship. A vessel lost to storms, swords, betrayal, and time. And you're the first human to lay eyes on it since the day it sank. This is the story of how we discovered the Crimson Widow, the most feared pirate ship of the Caribbean, and the secrets we uncovered in the deep. My name is Daniel Rosmarine, explorer, diver, and underwater historian. For the last 12 years, I've chased shipwrecks across the world, from Spanish galleons to forgotten merchant ships, but nothing could prepare me for the discovery we made on a warm morning in June. For centuries, legends whispered about a ship captained by the ruthless pirate Ezra Blackwell, a man so feared that sailors refused to speak his name at sea. His ship, the Crimson Widow, was rumored to have vanished during a monstrous storm off the coast of Eleuthera in the Bahamas. Some believed it sank, others believed Blackwell escaped, living out his final days hidden on a remote island. But no evidence ever surfaced. No bodies, no wreckage, no treasure. Until now. The story begins, not underwater, but inside a dusty antique shop in Savannah, Georgia. I was browsing a shelf filled with cracked leather journals when I found something strange. A notebook wrapped in oilcloth, sealed with brittled rope. When I opened it, the smell of salt water and mold escaped like a ghost. It belonged to a man named Thomas Reed, a cartographer from 1711. His writing was shaky, water-damaged, but one passage stood out. The widow bleeds in the waters south of the Serpent's Spine. The captain took 3 chests and fled. We sank with the storm. 3 chests. A captain fleeing. A ship bleeding in the water. And what was the Serpent's Spine? That phrase isn't on any map today, but historical charts from the 1700s showed a cluster of sharp, winding reefs off Eleuthera, named La Columna del Serpient. The Serpent's Column. The Serpent's Spine. My heart raced. This was the first real clue to the Crimson Widow in hundreds of years. 3 weeks later, I was on a boat with 2 divers, a marine archaeologist, and Lucas, my best friend, an expert underwater photographer, heading straight toward the reefs. The water that day was calm. Too calm. Old sailors believe that before you find a cursed ship, the sea tests your resolve. I didn't believe it. Until that morning. A dark line appeared on the horizon, fast, sharp, violent. Storm front, Lucas said. But this storm moved wrong. It was coming directly toward us, even though the wind blew sideways. Within minutes, waves began crashing against our hull. Thunder cracked overhead. Salt stung my eyes. It felt less like weather, and more like a warning. Max shouted, "We should turn back." But the GPS showed something incredible. A sudden dip in seafloor elevation. A canyon hidden between the reefs, exactly where Reed's journal described. We tried to drop anchor, but the waves jerked the boat dangerously. So we waited, and just as suddenly as it came, the storm vanished. No rain, no thunder, only clear skies and calm waters again. None of us had ever seen anything like it, and with the storm gone, the sea glowing turquoise under the afternoon sun. It was time to dive. The first 30 feet of water were warm and clear. Colorful parrotfish darted past us. Coral walls shimmered in sunlight. But the deeper we descended, the darker it became. 60 feet, or 100 feet, 100 feet. The water grew colder. The blue turned midnight, and the reef transformed into jagged stone twisted like the spine of a serpent. Our flashlights cut through the darkness in thin beams. Then Max grabbed my arm. He pointed downward. At 115 feet, I saw it. the curve of a wooden hull, the tip of a mast half buried in sand, a tattered rope swaying like a ghost's hand. It wasn't debris. It wasn't a mirage. It was a ship. It didn't look like the elegant pirate ships from Hollywood. Time had stripped away its paint, its sails, its glory. But the bones of the beast were still their massive curved beams. Cannons fused to the deck with rust. Chains twisted like vines. We hovered above the wreck, breathless. Lucas whispered through his regulator, "Oh my God!" The ship was tilted on its side. Its hull split open as if torn by a monstrous wave or something far worse. Inside the cracked hull, we saw shattered rum bottles, half-buried cannons, rusted flintlocks, broken cratis, and a skeleton wearing the remains of a red coat. Ezra Blackwell's crew. Max flashed his light on the tattered coat fibers. "This shade of red. This is Widow's crimson." My chest tightened. We weren't just near the ship. We were on Italiano. We swam toward the stern, where the captain's quarters would be. The door was half-torn, hanging by a hinge. Inside, the room was surprisingly intact, papers floating, furniture overturned, ropes drifting like underwater vines. On the far wall, carved into wood, we found a symbol. A widow spider. Its legs wrapped around a skull, the mark of Ezra Blackwell. We recorded everything, taking slow, careful movements to protect the fragile wood. Then Lucas pointed his flashlight beneath a collapsed desk. There, half-buried in sand, was a metal box. Not a treasure chest, not gold-plated, not glamorous, just a simple iron lockbox, but completely out of place. Pirates rarely used iron. Too expensive, too rare. Max looked at me, eyes wide through his mask. This could be the captain's. My pulse surged. We tried lifting it, but it was wedged under debris. Lucas signaled he'd move a broken beam aside. The moment he touched it, a loud crack echoed through the water. The wooden ceiling shifted. Sand exploded upward. A cloud of darkness swallowed us whole. I grabbed Max's hand. We kicked backward, struggling to see. When the sand settled, Lucas was gone. Panic hit instantly. We shined our lights frantically across the wreck. Nothing, only darkness. I forced myself to breathe slowly. Panic wastes oxygen. Then Max pointed upward. A faint beam of light flickered near the broken stairwell leading to the deck. Lucas was there, stuck beneath a fallen beam, struggling to free his leg. We rushed to him. The beam was heavy, but water gave us leverage. We lifted together, inch by inch, until he pulled his leg free. He gave a shaky thumbs up. We couldn't stay much longer. Our air was down to 1/3, so we returned to the captain's cabin. Somehow, the iron lockbox had come loose from the collapse. I tucked it under my arm. Time to go. Ascending from a deep dive is torture. You want to shoot upward? Back to air. Back to safety. But you must rise slowly or risk decompression sickness. Minute by minute, foot by foot. The entire ascent, I kept my hand on the box, feeling its weight, feeling history pressing against my chest. At 15 feet, we made our final safety stop. The sunlight above us rippled like a living thing, and then, breaking the surface, we gasped as air filled our lungs. We dragged ourselves onto the boat, exhausted but alive. Back on board, we gathered around the metal box. The lock had rusted away centuries ago. It opened as inside were a cracked compass, a silver coin stamped 1709, a small pistol, and a leather-bound journal. The final journal of Captain Ezra Blackwell. Max opened it carefully. The first page read, "To whoever finds this, know that the widow did not sink by storm alone. We were betrayed from within. A mutiny, not a natural disaster." Page after page revealed a chilling truth. Blackwell's first mate, Rohan Pike, attempted to seize the treasure, 3 chests filled with Spanish gold. During the storm, Pike tried to kill Blackwell, but the captain fought back. Their battle cracked the deck, snapping support beams. The storm finished the job. Blackwell survived long enough to write the journal, but according to the final entry, I hide the chests where the sea meets the serpent's eye, not in the widow, but nearby. The treasure was not on the ship. We had found only part of the mystery. The serpent's spine had several caves along the ocean floor, dark, narrow caverns shaped like eye sockets. Blackwell's clue was clear: where the sea meets the serpent's eye. The treasure wasn't lost. It was eaten somewhere near the wreck. Somewhere waiting. This wasn't the end of our journey. It was only the beginning. We had found the Crimson Widow. But the 3 legendary treasure chests of Ezra Blackwell were still out there somewhere in the deep. And we were going back. Shipwrecks are more than wood and iron. They're time capsules holding stories of fear, courage, betrayal, and hope. Standing on that deck, holding the captain's journal in my hands, I understood something. Some discoveries change history. Others change you. The Crimson Widow whispered her secrets that day, but she didn't reveal them all. Not yet. And so, the hunt continues. Where the sea meets the serpent's eye, 3 chests wait in silence. Waiting for us? Waiting for the next dive. Waiting for the next chapter of the story. And someday soon, we'll return to the deep. Thank you for watching.